I just printed this out on my big yellow B paper. So I printed it out. I cut this page down to the size of my printing paper, which is 8.5 by 11. So I get a little bit of a better page than this is the drawing paper. This is the copy paper. The paper's much better in here. However, printing paper is totally fine to color on too. I printed this out just on my laser printer, black and white laser printer. I used the B paper, the big yellow B, Como Draw. So I thought what I would do today is color with colored pencil. I'm going to pick my palette with you and we're going to do a little coloring. And I just thought it would be fun because I've been really into doing coloring. It's really been helping me de-stress, honestly. I've been coloring pages out of my coloring book, and then I've been creating more coloring pages because I thought it would be cool. And like, don't hold me to this. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I'm not really sure if I'm going to do this or not. I might. It's on my mind to do a quarantine coloring book. And I mean, I'm making pages now, so we'll see what I do with them. Some of them I'll probably put up on my free coloring page, website page. And then I was thinking of doing like a pay what you can, like doing a printable one, because Amazon, I don't want to clog up Amazon's. I don't want to clog up Amazon's whole system. Not that a million people are going to run and order my coloring book, okay? I just don't want to. They have better things to do right now. So because these can be printed at home, like, why not do it? You know, like, why not do some printables? I've never like sold printables before. And honestly, like, I feel weird even right now, like promoting anything to purchase, which because of the state our country is in and just because of the state the world is in, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like pay what you can or pay what you want, and that's fine. I thought that would be kind of a cool thing to do and something helpful. And you guys probably know if you know my coloring books at all or my art, I don't do swearies. If you know me in person, like, all bets are off, but my stuff is all family friendly. So, you know, you wouldn't have to worry or, you know, isolate things from people because of potential language issues. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. So let's do this page. And I love to just pick out a limited palette because I think the easiest way to make a page look awesome is just to limit your palette. Just limit the palette. You know what I'm saying? Because you just limit your palette and then you figure things out and it's just going to look great almost no matter what you do, as long as you pick a palette that you like and that is cohesive and, you know, beautiful. So I'm not really into that one, but I want to do something springy because the springy colors are really jumping out at me. So I love neutral. Love neutral. So, because neutrals they just help to corral everything else in. So here's a really nice neutral, excuse me. So let's use that for now. This is a beautiful pencil. This is I got this actually a friend of mine and me traded art supplies, and I never would have bought this. I love Caran d'Ache. As you know, I'm a huge Caran d'Ache fan. I love the Neocolor 2s. They're really like one of my absolute favorites. I could probably make a whole video on Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s just because of why I think they're so great. Just philosophically, for an artist, I think they're great. Let's talk about them just for a minute because I can't help myself. I love to talk about this stuff. So one of the things I love about them is that there's no point. So, I mean, there's a point when you get a new one, but there's no point because there's like a crayon. But the cool thing about that is if you can really get into the details and become a little bit detail freaky like me, the cool thing is you can't. So you can't do that with these, which is actually, it's good. It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic to release from that. You know what I'm saying? And just, bye, Lori. Hey, August Wren Hippocates. Sorry, guys. And the funny thing is I know most of your names, but I'm so nervous talking in live right now that I just forget everything as I'm doing it. So if I'm not saying you by name, that is exactly why. Anyway, so I love these because you can't focus on the details. You have to look at the bigger picture. And I love that about them. That's one thing. Anyway, so this pencil is it's a Caran d'Ache pencil, luminance. They're pretty pricey, and I don't own any other ones but this one. This was gifted to me, and I love them. And I have a ton of, this is my go-tos are Prismacolor Premier, and then I use the Blick Studio brand colored pencils, which I think are extremely similar, and they're both like, I guess they're like both mid-quality probably. So a lot of people like Prismacolor Premiers. I really like them. But those are mostly what I have. This is another one that was gifted to me, and I found that I really like it. It's Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor, so in blue violet. So these are both really nice, and I want to buy some more of these at some point. But anyway, right now these are the only two I have. So I'm going to use this blue today because this is a really nice blue. And then I love a fluorescent, so let's do this as a pink. And then we'll use that yellow. And then this is another one that's very much a... It's purple, but it's like a really nice neutral purple. So when I'm building a palette for my coloring page, I usually just do a little scribble on a spare piece of paper and try and build it that way. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I have this one too. And sometimes I go a little bananas, like maybe I need to rein it in sometimes, if you know what I mean. But, you know, this is like my art therapy, so cut myself some slack. So I really like this one too. This is light aqua, and I think it's a Blick. Anyway, here's another random one. This is Faber Castell Polychromos. Yeah. Anyway, that's a weird palette, but let's see. So get that. I really want to use this blue because it's like a really nice blue. It's almost the same shade. Then we have this neutral, which is really nice. And then we have this bright yellow, deep yellow. And then we have this sort of grayish lavender. And then we have a pink, which is kind of wacky in there. I'm not sure that I like that, but that. And what about this? Do we want to use that pink instead? Yeah, let's do that. Maybe we'll save this for like a pop later. And then maybe... all right. Do we need a green? Maybe I'll use this green. Hey, Lisa. Hey, New Per Illustrations. Hey, Lena Peabon. Miss Jex. You guys, for the first time, I actually have my iPad set up over here so I can see you guys coming in, which is awesome. So I just picked my palette. We're doing a coloring page, or I'm doing a coloring page, and you're coming along with me, which is nice. This might be nice actually as like because I'm really into this pencil, as just an accent, so I can do shading. This might be good for that. And as I'm doing this page, I'll probably grab some other stuff and use it that I didn't pick. But I just like to sort of rein myself in the beginning because, you know, things are going to change and that's okay. But I want to start out, sorry if I just bumped. Did I just bump? Where are we? Okay. Got to fix my page here. But I'm just going to start out with this stuff and see how it works. You know what I'm saying? So, so now I'm noticing. So for any latecomers here, hey Laura, hey Lisa, for latecomers. So or not latecomers, right? I just started this, but I will tell you that I printed out this coloring page on a page of my Big Yellow Bee Como Draw. It's 80-pound acid-free natural white paper with a tooth, a little bit of a textured surface, and I printed it out, cut it to size, and then I printed it on my black laser printer. So I just have a brother, like office printer. I also have a color printer, but that's a different thing. So I did notice that on this one, if I print it out on that paper, I'm noticing that ink is sort of maybe coming off a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on here, but that's okay. That's okay. We're still going to use this paper because I like it. I want to give it a shot and see how this works out. So I picked my palette. My palette's right here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and just sort of like color code things just so I can know where I want to put colors. I don't do this all the time, you know. Sometimes I just color. But I wanted to do this because I actually do this sometimes just because I like color to be balanced around whatever page I'm coloring. I like to have like a balance of colors. So this is like a good way to do that. But the flip side is if you like to sort of fly by the seat of your pants, then, you know, you're going to be making a lot of decisions in the beginning. Although I will say you can change things. So depending on how hard you color. So if I'm going to start coloring my page and you see I'm not adding a lot of pressure, a lot can change. A lot can change if I just build up the color instead of just start pressing. So like pressing harder. When you press harder like this, see if you can see this. When you press hard like that, then all of the wax and everything is going deep into the recesses of the paper, and there's nowhere else for you to go. You know what I mean? You can't, it's going to be harder to get other pencil in there if you want to do blending and stem shading and stuff like that. So it's a nice idea to sort of start out more gentle with your pressure, and then later, as you're sort of moving around your art, like you're moving around your coloring page and you're coloring different parts, and then you're figuring out, oh, you know, I want to balance the pink over here with a little bit of pink or orange down here, and you know, you're sort of crafting your whole palette around your page in a nice balanced way, or balanced to you, whatever looks good to you. You can have a little bit more leeway because you can add a little color here and there to different parts of your artwork. So let's just say, for instance, just to illustrate my point, I'll do something with these leaves here that I'm coloring. With these leaves, I'm going to put a few different colors in so you can see what I'm talking about, or so you can sort of understand the concept I'm trying to explain without me having to color the entire page to sort of get my point across. So all of these leaves now are this shade of green, but let's say I used a little pink on a leaf over here or something, and I really wanted to balance it. And maybe I also put a little bit of orange and I wanted to balance out the orange on a leaf. I know it's maybe hard to visualize what I'm talking about right now, but then I can take, if I have a little bit of extra room in my paper fibers for a little bit more different pigment, I can add and blend a different color in here so we get both the green and the pink and a mix, and it looks so pretty. So it's like a gradient, but you're also really feeling that pink vibe because I didn't press down so hard and like take up all those little fibers with just that green color. Sometimes it's nice to do that when you want a really deep, saturated color. And that's when a pencil that has like a really nice creamy quality is like a beautiful thing. And the quality in different colored pencils varies a lot. I'm definitely not a colored pencil guru. I have tried a bunch, but I haven't tried most of them probably. You know, I pretty much go middle of the road with them because, as I said before, I really like this one, but these are super pricey. Like, I think, oh, I'm just looking at my screen, so if I'm unbalanced. These are like, I think they're almost $5 a piece. I could be wrong about that. I'm talking about the Caran d'Ache Luminance ones, and that's a lot to spend on a colored pencil. So anyway, back to what I was saying about balancing your colors and your composition. So this is kind of a nice way to balance your colors and also to get some nice gradient action in there. And then, yeah, so where am I going now? Let's take this green and let's do a little bit of green over here. So actually, let me continue with what I was doing before I stopped to explain that concept to you. So I'm just gonna do some color coding again. So I'm just gonna really do these lightly because I don't want to press too hard on that paper because I really don't want to create, you know, a little spot that's gonna be darker than, you know, what it should be later. So we have orange and yellow here. This is more like a peachy one. And then let's do that here. And then I think here I'm also going to add pink maybe. And then let's balance that down here a little bit. Let's do peachy, and then I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. Oh, you know what? I'm going to use this one too. I have this chartreuse color, and I'm going to use this one too. Although I think the chartreuse it's really bright, so it's going to probably need some shading as well, but we can cross that bridge when we get there. I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to color this entire page on a live because I'm talking so much that I'm not really going to be finishing it probably, but I will show the finished one on my grid. So this is going to be my page for today. Every day in the past couple of weeks, I decided right around the stay-at-home orders, I decided to color a page every day for coloring therapy. So that's what I'm doing. And it's been a lot of fun. I've been using the hashtag #MyDailyColoringTherapy to do that. So that has been fun. I'm actually gonna, oh, that I grabbed. I want to grab the fluorescent pink one for a second, just want to see how it's going to play here. Okay. All right. So this is one that I will probably use to sort of highlight different parts of the art when I'm done. Or maybe not when I'm done, but, you know, when I'm getting there. So you can also just use a gradient within this one color. So you can make it deeper, you know, at a part where the color would be deeper and darker. Maybe down here the color would be darker, and then go use less pressure up here. And then you get a nice little gradient there. Gosh, I'm afraid I'm gonna destroy all the ink on this page. By the time this is done, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna make it, but this is fun because I really needed to, give that a little test drive. So as you can see here, down here, I pressed harder with this light green color. This looks like a sea green to me, like a sea foam green. So, and then I'm just gonna lightly. I really love this yellow color. I love yellow colors that are like almost, they just have a lot of orange in them or something. I don't know, they're very, very warm. I love that. I love that bright, deep orange, yellow. It's so pretty. Was I calling this orange a minute ago? I hope not, but if I was, Please forgive me. So now I just use this color here, and you can see if you're just looking at this, and I know that there's not a lot of color on here, but I mean, look at how much that's drawing your eye. So I'm sensing that I'm going to be using this over here somewhere. This is just like very intuitive here. We're just intuitive coloring. And actually, that's really why I love doing this. I love to just color and just sort of make decisions on the fly. I do that with drawings too. I just, with drawing in my sketchbook and, you know, daily stuff. I just love doing that. That's kind of my happy place, actually. And it doesn't have to come out perfect or anything. I mean, I just like to see how things come out when I'm working from a very intuitive place. So that's always a fun surprise. It's like you're in communication with your creative, you know, creative self. Anyway, so now I'm going to sharpen this one too. Hey, I didn't sharpen my pencils before we started. Hey guys. Hey, Natalie Kogan. Hello. Tracy McCall. Hello. Purple Berry. Hello. Borlina Illustra. Hello. Elaine. Hello. 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 I'm coloring a coloring page today and just talking about my process. And I started coloring pages every day during the quarantine, and I've been hashtagging them my daily coloring therapy, and it's been a lot of fun. I do make coloring books, among other things, but thanks for the hearts. Hello, Blue Shine Art. Yeah, so I do make coloring books, but not but. Why but? I don't know. I just said but I do make coloring books, and I love to do coloring pages. So I actually recently, after I started doing my daily coloring therapy, which I'm doing every day, so I have a bunch of posts using that hashtag. You can go look at them if you'd like later. Because now we're having a conversation. No. So I put up a page on my website, on the Courageous Coloring website. I put up a page of free coloring pages so everyone can color during quarantine and just have a nice creative moment without listening to the news and without having an anxiety attack. Because coloring is actually very meditative. It's a very meditative thing to do. So I always loved to color as a kid, but I got bored with it pretty easily because I just wanted to draw. And I also never, thanks Blue Shine Art, I also never colored in the lines. I always colored outside the lines, which is kind of funny, because I color outside the lines now, metaphorically. But yeah. So here I'm doing more of that gradation over the base color. And I don't know if whoever wasn't here before, I was talking about how you can use, when you start to color in a part of your art, if you leave some of the white, if you're not pressing into the paper and filling in all of those little paper fibers with the wax and the pigment in your colored pencil, then this is like what I like to do. You can obviously, this is what I like to do. Then you can save a little bit of that color area for later on in your coloring. When you get over to the other side, maybe you're looking at it, you're like, hey, that's not balanced. You know, I need a little more yellow there. I need a little more orange there or something, you know, just to balance your composition. You can have that freedom to do that because you didn't already fill in all of those little fibers with one color. So now, you know, I have some yellow over here. I can, if I didn't have the yellow there, well, let's use another color as an example. So let's see this pink here. So let's say I can put some pink here, and say I put some pink here, and I was like, oh, I want to balance out that pink, but the rest of my page, I don't really know where else I'm going to put it right now. Then you can say, hey, I have a little extra room here. Here's my little bank. I can have this little bank of extra area that I can fold in a different color. You know, I can add in a little bit more in the part of the composition where I want to balance that particular color out. And it's a nice little thing. So as you can see over here, I pressed really hard, and I tend to sort of do that with the lighter colors, honestly, like I just do. And then I also sometimes will defiantly use another color over that, and it will do kind of like what this is doing here, which is if you press really hard, you can get some of the pigment in there, but usually the pigment is mostly going to stay where you don't, you know, on the edge or where you didn't press really hard. So just keep that in mind, something to keep in mind if you're coloring a page and you know, want to give yourself sort of a little bit of a safety net for later, or give yourself a little bit more freedom down the road when you first start coloring your page. Also, what I was sharing earlier, and I don't know if anybody who's here now knows that I was doing this because I fell off doing it and I wasn't doing it. Sometimes, well, I pick a palette. So I picked a palette today, and it's here. This is my palette. And these two colors, here's the palette. And then sometimes what I will do is I will go around my page and sort of dole out where I want to put what color. And it's sort of a guide for me. It's not like a cut and dried thing, but it's just something to give me a little bit of a guide. So I make sure that I have, you know, the colors sort of balanced where I want them to be balanced and how I want them to be balanced. And then if you do this light shading or this light coloring first, then you don't have to like be super married to just that color, because you can always do some gradient with it, do something else over it later. So that was my other point that I was making. And I guess I'm just going to keep practicing doing that throughout this coloring, because that seems to be the thing that I'm really into doing right now. Hey, Joy Hall Art, how are you? So I think I need another green, because I don't think I need like a nice yellow green. And I think I wasn't going to use this one. Oh wait, I do have chartreuse, but that's light. That's a light color, and I really want to use like a light to mid yellow green. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to temper this later probably. I'm not going to just keep this this shade. One thing that I did with yesterday's page that I'm really into is I used this Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor. It's a blue-violet color, and I used it for shading and for depth and dimension in my page, and I really like how it came out. So do I have it over here? I want to show you guys that, because that might be somewhat what this ends up looking like. Not, obviously not completely, but so this is how it came out. And again, I used a limited palette, and as you can see, a lot of the colors that I used in this one are similar to the ones, or are the same ones that I'm using right now. A lot more purple though. But this was really fun to do all the shading. Of course, it took me a really long time, but usually colored pencils tend to take a long time because they're detailed, and I tend to get more sort of, I tend to get a little more detailed with the colored pencils, which is another reason why. And if you weren't here earlier, I'll stop saying that because I keep saying that. I love these. These are Caran d'Ache Neocolor water soluble pastels. This is the Neocolor 2. They also come in a non-water soluble one, which basically means you can't water them down. That's the Neocolor 1. And I think most of the ones in this, I have my Neocolor 1s and 2s all mixed up together. So the 1s are a waxy pastel that are not water soluble, and the 2s are a water soluble wax pastel that is water soluble. And which means you can obviously paint with it and stuff if you want, but I don't think they're like deep enough and rich enough in pigment to actually paint with. They're good if you want to like wash. If you want to add a little wet and sort of work with it, it's nice for that. They're not like paint sticks, if you get what I'm saying. So it's a different thing, but that's okay. They're great for what they are. I love them very much. And I love to use them coloring because even though a lot of my pages are really detailed, they force me to not be detailed. And if you look back on some of my daily colorings, ever since we've been quarantined, actually, not the entire time. I've been quarantined longer than 2 weeks, but we've been, my husband, Matt, and me, quarantined together. But for about 2 weeks, a little bit over 2 weeks, I have been doing a coloring page every day just for color therapy, art therapy, because obviously this is a very stressful time for everybody. And I just wanted to, because it was just going to be something I could do to, a daily practice, a new daily practice, and keep me, have a little ritual that I do every day to sort of meditate with color, because that's really what this is. This is meditating with color. So, and a lot of times when I draw, I use black or pencil. So, that is usually, if I'm doing like work, or actually just when I'm doodling and goofing off a little bit, or just like idea mining type of stuff, I often will just do pencil, like graphite, and I just really love it. It's like that's like my happy place, you know what I'm saying? So of course color is too, but it's different. I just really enjoy, I really enjoy just working on one aspect at a time and sort of letting myself work on that unencumbered without all of the other, distractions. Color is a big distraction, which is it's an awesome distraction, but that's another reason why you want to limit, why I want to limit my palette, and why I think it's a great idea to limit your palette, because it just helps rein you in, so then you can sort of explore little bits and pieces at a time instead of like getting overwhelmed, So, hey, look, I found a happy place for this dark blue. I'm using it for shading and for depth, just like I did with that other page. And I'm really liking doing this. I'm really liking this method. I'm a little concerned that all of this ink on this page is gonna flake off or something, because as I mentioned this earlier, so sorry if I'm repeating myself to other people who have been here before when I said this, but I actually printed this coloring page on my big Yellow Bee Como draw, cut it out to size of my printer. I used just my Brother inkjet. I mean, not inkjet. My Brother, I have an inkjet, but that's not what I used. I used my Brother printer, which is a laser, just like a black laser printer. And I used that to print the artwork onto this paper. And I've only been using, I usually use like copy paper to print a coloring page onto, but I just wanted to see how it would go, you know, to use a different kind of paper. And I think cardstock might be actually a better, I'm just, if things are bouncing around a little, I'm just checking to see where I am in the viewfinder. Okay. So I think that using cardstock might be a good idea in the future, because cardstock, I think the ink might sink into it more. So I will try that. So as you can see, I'm just working that method that I was telling you about, which is doing a light coloring, leaving some of the white fiber of the paper so I can go in with a different color later if I want. So now I just, because I'm talking and not really thinking, not like thinking so much about what I'm doing here, I noticed that I have this interesting combo here and I have nothing over here to balance that. So I'm going to do something over here that's similar to there and then try and figure out, what am I doing? What am I doing with this palette? Because it's really looking all over the place right now. Yeah, because usually I'm just coloring by myself. And usually I'm just coloring and talking to myself. No, not talking to myself, but, you know, thinking about where I'm going to put what. And right now I'm just talking. So please forgive me. Anyway, I will talk to you about another ritual I recently started. So I love to take walks, and this whole quarantine has really put a damper on my walks, which is fine. I understand. And I mean, I've been quarantined for over 3 weeks now. I think we're almost going to be at a month now, and have gone outside perhaps 5 times, always with a mask, and always for a very short period of time, and really only integral, except for a couple of times that I took a walk. Actually, I took a walk 3 times, okay? But I don't know. I live in a very urban area, but I live on a residential street. So while there is nobody really out, or very few people, it's a very narrow street. And luckily I live on a one-way, so I can walk in the middle of the street some of the time. But the houses are very close to the sidewalk, and their parking is at a premium in my neighborhood. So there's always cars parked everywhere, you know, on either side of the street. So, yeah, so it's pretty, even when there's nobody there, it feels a little bit congested when you're in quarantine because you're trying to stay away from everything. So, what I did was I broke out my old exercise videos. And so we moved to this house. I'll give you a little bit of backstory. We moved to this house in 2013. No, 2012. I'm sorry. And ever since then, I've had a gym membership. But when I lived in our old house, I worked out at home. And I'd done it for years. And I had my own room to do it in, and I had all the toys, and it was great. I loved it, and I never wanted to ever go to a gym again because I had everything in that room. I had a step, I had Bosu, I had treadmill, stair stepper. Okay, now I'm just talking about reminiscing here about all these things. But okay, so we moved into a house. It's about 1,100 to 1,200 square feet at the most. Maybe it's less. It might just be 1,000 square feet. I'm not sure. It's small, but I do have my own studio, which is nice. But Okay, now I'm balancing this and this. So we moved here and, you know, I just put all my workout stuff in the basement and I go to the gym. And, you know, some months going to the gym, I'm better than other months going to the gym, you know what I'm saying, because that's how it goes when you're going to the gym a lot of the time. Probably for most people. Anyway, not for everybody, I'm sure. But, you know, I'm not sure how I feel about this. And no, I am sure. I don't really like this dark blue with this green, but I love it over here. So anyway, just an observation, thinking out loud. Okay, so I started going to the gym and I've been to every gym in my neighborhood. I have 3 and I've been to every single one of them extensively, tried them out, you know, for different time frames and whatnot. But now, okay. Oh, wait. So I had my hip replaced in November and, you know, obviously I couldn't go to the gym. So haven't really been to the gym and been doing walking and doing my physical therapy at home. And I had been going to physical therapy for probably 3 months I went. And then the quarantine sort of stopped that, but I was practically done with physical therapy by the time the quarantine started. So like I had 3 weeks left, but you know what? I was really fine. I did not need those 3 weeks. And I'm pretty much a by the book person. Like you know, I'm pretty strict about stuff like that, so I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm missing out. You know, I felt like, you know what? The last few weeks that I did go to it, were kind of like really hard, but I wasn't really doing anything new and that I couldn't do at home on my own. So now, I was like, I've been walking a lot, like walking a few miles a few times a week. And since the quarantine, I can't do that. So, but I still have all my exercise videos and stuff in the basement. So, hey guys. Hey Bethany Joy. Hey Katie Ivy. Oh my God. Fanning over. I'm a fangirl. Love Katie Ivy. Laurel Velati. Hey guys. Yeah, so I have my iPad over there for the very first time ever during a live. Okay, I almost never do lives, but I've just started doing them more. I did a coloring live a few days ago, and this is my second one recently. And besides this, I've really only gone live a couple other times. So maybe this will be a new thing. I don't know. But anyway, so as I was saying, I pulled out my exercise videos from back in the day, and I'm sort of having a little bit of a renaissance of, oh my God, I can work out in my kitchen. I'll just do my exercise videos in my kitchen. I have my yoga mat down there now, and got some weights, and I'm gonna cough and I'm gonna move my face away because social distancing. Excuse me. Water. So yeah, I'm not joking and I'm not coughing either. So please don't worry about me. Please don't worry. I'm fine. Anyway, see what it's come to, guys? So we cough and then we're like, oh my God, what's wrong? But you know what? I really have not been leaving the house. Although I did, for most things. That's not true because I did take a walk today and I took a walk yesterday, as I told you before, but I had on a face mask. I literally had a hood on. You pretty much couldn't see who I was, and I was walking in the middle of the street. So it's tough around here because everything's very close together, and I don't like it for this. Like, it's really not ideal for the situation we're in right now. And so what are you going to do? So, excuse me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So for these flowers, you can see, and I didn't do that with this one, so it looks a little awkward, but I'm leaving the page white to feel like a highlight or like another color in the coloring. This page is going to look so strange when I'm done because it actually really looks so disjointed right now, but that's okay. That's totally all right. You know why? Because we're just talking here. So I'm just going to continue to color and see where this page takes me. And I'm not sure if I will stay on this, if I'm going to do a live for the entire page, because there's a lot of detail here. So I think I might, you know, I think I might stop after a while and then finish the page and post it on my square. Because thank you so much for the hearts. Every now and then I look up and the hearts just caught my eyes. So thank you. Thank you. So this little leaf. So what I've been doing is doing some gradients with 2 different colors like I did here. And I did it over here. Although for this one, I used the darker color for shading. And I was mimicking something I did on yesterday's page, which was this one, where I used this color extensively to help with shading throughout the whole thing. And I really like the effect of it because it gives a lot of dimension, which is really fun. So I also really like to color. Oh, that's wacky, isn't it? Look at that. It should be. I really like to color with the Neocolor 2s, and I talk about those all the time. So I'm sure that if you ever see my feed and you see my coloring pages, I have a lot of Neocolor 2s in there. So I have been, and I'm repeating myself again for anybody who hasn't heard this, but I've been coloring a page a day for the past few weeks. I've been quarantined longer than that, but I just decided one day of the quarantine early on to color a page a day and post it. And so I've been posting those to my Instagram feed every day. Sometimes I do a video. And this is the second live I've done for it. But I'm not sure that, I think I did do a coloring page I did a coloring page, but it was from my book, but it wasn't one of my freebies. So I have a freebie website where you can download coloring pages, and that is at bit.ly/courageouspages. So, all right, so now I'm looking at this page. I'm trying to assess what I have done here. What have I done here? I'm going to complete coloring in the spots that I've already doled out color to, because some of these parts of the coloring I have already designated what color I'm going to color the part. For instance, the flower I'm working on right now I put little bits of yellow in there, so I'm coloring it all yellow, and I'm going to do the same thing I haven't done that with every piece of this coloring. I've only done it with a few things, so I did it over here too. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to see where I'm at after that. I'm going to use this as a shading, and then I'm going to put some yellow in this flower because I think I would like to do that. I kind of wish I didn't do that flower like that because it's not really feeling, it's not feeling like it's in the same universe. But you know what? We're not done with this yet. So I think it's going to feel differently later. But I think I went in too hard with the pencil. And I wish I didn't do that on that flower. So That's okay. So today I did a video workout in my kitchen, and I'm going to do that tomorrow too. It really actually, I mean, exercise is like, it's so important mentally as well as physically. And also, I have a new hip, so that's really important that I keep my exercise routine up. And it's been a little challenging, honestly, with the quarantine, because I really like to walk outside, and I have not been able to walk outside, except I've gone out a couple of times for a walk. And every time I go out for a walk, and mind you, I have like all the gear on, I have my mask on, I'm covered up, I'm walking away from people. So one of my things is you can't control what other people do, right? You can only control what you do. And that is, you know, it's reality, right? And I live in a very populated area, in a populated city, and you know, I just have to be careful when I go out so I don't get close to other people, because if you're like walking down a street and there's a corner, somebody could just, you know, people, I guess what I'm trying to say is people have been getting closer than I might like, and unexpectedly so, like at unexpected moments. So that's something to look out for. When you're out, for whatever reason you have to go out, that is something to pay attention to. So it's like you really have to kind of be on your guard. And I mean, it's tough, you know, it's tough, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. I mean, look, I have it easy. You know what I mean? We have it easy. I'm not a doctor in the emergency room or in the ICU. I'm not a nurse, you know, in the emergency room or in the makeshift emergency room. So I have nothing to complain about, you know, at all. I have everything I need, you know. I have food. I have, I even have a water filter in my kitchen, because I have a very strange story for you. In 2015, I got a parasite, and I don't know how I got it. I don't have it anymore. But, hey, Lori Lynn, Katie Ryan, hey. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. It's looking kind of ratchet right now, but what are you going to do? But thank you. I think it's just because I'm talking while I'm doing this, but you know, what else are you guys going to listen to if I'm not sitting here talking? You're just going to be seeing me draw, and it's repeat color, and that's not that exciting, right? So anyway, so in 2015, I got a parasite, you guys, okay? So I came home, I did Surtex, the trade show, came home like 2-3 weeks later, was very sick, got, thought it was food poisoning, then it wasn't, you know, for a long time. There was a lot of back and forth with my primary care physician, who is no longer my primary care physician. And finally, we found out that I had Giardia, which is like, you know, nothing we need to talk about in depth, because you can just imagine. I'll just leave it to your imagination, but I lost 20 pounds, could barely eat, but I learned a lot. And I bought a Berkey water filter for my kitchen, which I still use to this day. And I started brewing kombucha, which I do on and off. I don't do it all the time now. It's like a lot. I love kombucha, and I love to make it, but it's like kind of an intense hobby, you know? Like, it's not it's not like hard to do. It's something that requires regular maintenance, upkeep, and management. I mean, you have to, you know, the kombucha is going to tell you when it needs to be, you know, secondly fermented and all this stuff. So it's kind of like, it's a fun hobby, but you have to be on top of it, because after, you know, the first fermentation, then you have to, you're on the kombucha's timeline is what I'm trying to say. So that's the scoop with kombucha, and I love to do it, but these days I have all my brewing equipment still, or my fermenting equipment. It's not brewing. But I did pick it up last year again, but then I put it down again because I just can't seem to keep it up regularly for like a longer period of time. It's because it's kind of an intense, you know, it's kind of intense. So, yeah. So when I got that Parasite, I changed my diet completely to like a diet that a Giardia hating diet basically is to kill it. So I was on antibiotics over and over, and I also, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here with this coloring. I'm trying to figure out what my next step is. I'll use this. So I did a bunch of things. I started brewing kombucha. I started taking anti-parasite supplements. There's lots of them on the market. You got to do your research and make sure that you get something that is, you know, well regarded and, you know, I don't know. You just want to make sure that you get something that's really good. It looks like Instagram kicks you off after an hour. So you're going to laugh. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll cry, but this is my third time. So this is like we're on hour number 3 now. We've just done 2 hours of coloring this page. And I'm talking about greeting card life and how I wanted to do greeting cards ever since I was a teenager and worked in Bedazzled Cards and Gifts in the Dedham Mall, and how Sandra Boynton, Mary Melcher, and Mary Engelbright were my idols. Those were the artists that I loved. And that's that. And then for a long time, I didn't even know how to do it. Didn't even know how to do licensing, or didn't know the first thing about how to start doing that. But eventually I started submitting to recycled paper. And when I did submit to recycled paper, I got rejected. And I got rejected, and it hurt really, really bad. I was really upset about it, obviously, right? But I still kept submitting. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking and coloring at the same time. Yeah, so unfortunately at the moment, I can't, sorry, I'm changing the subject real quick. I'm trying to see my page, I'm trying to see this live, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to. It might not let me. Anyway, I'm going to try. Oh, maybe it's letting me this time. That's good. All right, cool. So let me just continue. So I wanted to work for recycled paper. That was like my dream. And so I submitted. I got rejected. I submitted again. And I think I got rejected again. So listen, I still have those rejection letters, okay? I feel like rejection letters can be powerful tools for your world domination if you let them be. So this is before, wait, did I don't think there was there wasn't online submissions at this time. So this is before online submissions, but I worked for an internet company. So it was like definitely, you know, we were all in on the internet, okay, at this time. I worked for Boston.com at the time. And I apologize, this is looking like all blurry. This is what happens when you print on a laser printer and you print drawing paper and you print a coloring page on drawing paper on a laser printer. So don't do it. At least not on this paper, which is awesome paper, but this is what happens. So anyway, I'm going to try and make this snappy because I've been going on for way too long. My page is almost done. So I submitted a few times and I got rejected. I don't remember so much what happened after like the first 2 rejections, really. But I will tell you a story that happened, which is an awesome, awesome story. And it's like a redemption story, okay? So we've already established, right, that I wanted to work for recycled paper. Greetings. I got rejected. I would not give up because I was like, there's no way I shouldn't be working for this company. Like, I have to. That's like my dream. So I did keep submitting and I got the old, it was kind of cold. Like I got the same person, they had a gatekeeper there at the time. And I understand, it's their job. So it is what it is. So, we'll keep it on file for future, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I think they got really sick of me, bugging them. But, oh my God, I need to look back because I think I wrote a blog post about this and I don't remember exactly what happened between the time when I was trying to get them to pay attention to me and I kept getting rejection from them. And then one day out of the blue, I was at my day job at Boston.com. Actually, you know what? This is when it was still Boston.com, but it was also the Boston Globe at this time. So this is like probably 2008 or 10 years, 12 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't know. God, that makes me sound so old. Don't hold it against me, please. So I got a phone call from them. And it was the creative director. And he's like, I think I had just submitted some more work to them or something. Okay, that's what it was. I think I had submitted some more art. And they're just like, your art's really not our style. But what? And then we just started talking about doing different things with the art. Like, what if you tried this? What if you tried that? We just started talking. And then next thing you know, I was doing some designs for them. Or they were considering my designs and they were going to run with something. So that was really, really awesome. Such a good feeling. So yeah, so that's how I got my first card with them. And ultimately, I didn't end up working for them for a long time, for other reasons, not anything personal or anything like that. It was more, how can I put this? Logistical, I should say. It was more for more logistical reasons, that just didn't really work for me, but, it had nothing to do with anything else. But yeah, I did get to work for my dream company, you guys, for a few years I did. And, that was the beginning of like, oh my God, or one of the things that's like, oh my God, you know, I actually got to do something that I've always wanted to do. I actually made it happen. Oh my goodness. So that's an awesome feeling that I suggest everybody shoot for because you can do it. You can do it, you know. You can make your dreams happen, you know. And if you look back on the other story I told about when I applied to Mass Art and got rejected because I applied to be a fashion designer, which was very far from what I was, and then eventually did end up going, as I'm just giving you the recap now. You know, these are just things that so sometimes you do stuff like that and you're like, oh my God, I just didn't know any better. Now let me fix this and do things the right way or something. And then other times that you just persist and then things work out. So life is funny like that. All right, so I've been doing this for a really long time and I have nothing left on this page to color. So I'm going to hang it up now. And thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I hope that you're hunkering down like this says. And I hope that you are staying safe and being healthy and taking care of yourself and others. And taking care of others. And I hope you're with the people that take care of you. So that's it for right now. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you later. Bye.